Hey guys, Jason here. So we are working on a 88.
You get anything from that gate?
Nah, good, thanks.
Okay.
88 Range Rover ignition. There's no code on the outside of it, but here is how you take it apart after somebody has the bravery and the fortitude to remove the shear headed recessed bolts that cover this. So RV4 blank uses a Volvo card on a code machine. There's some holes in here that look like they might be retainers, but they're actually not. This is how you get it apart. Inside one of these holes there is a flat-headed screw, and once you back that screw out, it's best to, whenever you're doing this, put a blank key in and pull it apart that way, just to make sure. And we see there's a spring down in there. And let's see what all parts of this are. Okay, there's a sleeve, so we're gonna have to take the key back out, which is usually okay, but on the face of these there is a ball bearing thing that makes it hard to work on. So carefully pull it out. We see our wafer starting here, and on one of these sides there's that ball bearing, and it will drop out. So there's that hole that screw went in. I'm going to go ahead and drop the ball bearing out so we don't lose it if it comes out. It's not coming out now, but I'm sure it'll come out at some inopportune time. So these have 10 wafers, I believe, but only 8 spaces because the last 2 spaces are side by side. You see we have, this is where the key goes in. So go ahead and put the key in, see what it looks like. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This last one, I believe, if I recall, is basically a key stop wafer. So you can decode this, and on these again, there's 10 wafers, but there's only 8 spaces because these last 2 would be 8. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're spaced pretty much correctly apart like any other normal. Then you've got double wafers, so after 6, 7, and 8 is pretty much one cut, and 9 and 10 is pretty much another cut. And wow, there goes the camera. Very springy camera. Okay, so looking at this, we're going to just verbally looks like we're missing a wafer, possibly in that front position. So I'm not going to worry about that. Might be a problem if there is. That might cause a problem in a door lock. I'm gonna have to check that. So we'll just count it as 0 as nothing. If I can find a pin here. 0. And you can kind of tell, you probably could take these wafers out. Let's see. And sometimes you do have to do this. I'm not sure if the Rover wafers were numbered or not, but we can certainly take one out and see. These blanks are expensive, so the less chance of misreading a depth or whatever is better, but there is no numbers on this wafer, so we are just going to have to pretty much decode it, basing it on the heights. So let's get our key back in there. Let's pretty much just take a good look-see at the heights. Alright, there's another thing about Rovers, and they're pretty ticky. So we see that we kind of base it off the two tallest ones. We see this one here as a 4. If you flip it over, it's going to be the same because those two cuts are side by side. So so we're thinking this is a 4, thinking that's a 2. Thinking that is 3. Alright, skipping that first cut, we went ahead and cut in the second position a 2 cut, but it ended up being too high, so we went down one more, and it is a 3. So based on how that is, you can kind of tell that 0, 3, which I'm sure it's not 0. Might have a problem with the door locks if this uses that, but then we got, so then we know that's 3. That's a little bit lower than the other one was, so that's going to have to be a 2. We flip it back over, and we have a 3 again, looks like. And then we flip it over here, and that is definitely a 4. So after the 4, we flip it back, and that is going to be a 4. Okay, that was 4. We flipped it over. We go from 4 to 4 to 4. That slant, it's just from where. So 4, 4. Flip it over. We've got this one is a little higher, so that's going to have to be a 3. 3. Flip it over again. That is a 2. So since that's the double wafer, they're going to have to be the same. So it's actually going to have to be 2 and 2 or 3 and 3. So we'll go 2 and 2 because this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to say it's a 2 and a 2. And then we're going to say it's a 4 and a 4. So the only one I'm not sure about is this next one. We got the 3, we got 2, and then I think we got 3 again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 and 3, which are the next 2, 2 and 3. Okay, so we got 3, 2, 3. Check that. 3, of course 0, 3, 2. 2 sticking up a little bit. Those are sticking up just a little bit too. You have to shim these blanks when you're code cutting them. So we're going 3, 2, 3. And then so make sure again, 4, 4, and then double up 2 and double up 4. So let's hope we don't burn our key. Whoa. Be right back. Alright, so finished key. 0 or unknown. 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, double 2, double 4. Looks good. So now we took the key out, slip it back in the cylinder just like it was. Sometimes when you're doing this with locks, you do have to kind of manipulate the wafers to get them to go in. And even going so far as to run a pick down the keyway to get them to slide in. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so we're going to try it in its housing. Oh, that's right, you push and turn. That disengages it right there. I think we're good. So now we simply drop it back down, make sure that spring's still straight. We simply just drop it back down and find our screwdriver and tighten it back down. Now, assuming this key also didn't check, there may be a separate door key for one that all, so it may not matter that that first wafer's been pulled out. There we go. Last thing I'm going to do is spray some LPS1 down in there, and make one more key. But that's it. 88 Land Rover Range Rover ignition key make. Thanks, y'all.